So let's have a few videos on talking about vendor management when it comes to data protection or compliance, right? So let's see, is it even relevant to be worried about your vendors' compliances? Welcome to my YouTube channel. About, is there anything for us to see or worry about compliances that our vendors should make? Is it important? Well, maybe. But what are these vendors? These vendors are the people with which we work and we outsource our business activities to them. When I say we, I am talking more about myself as a data fiduciary, and I pick up a contract from somewhere and I outsource it to a third party. Maybe full, maybe partial, and as a service provider, I do it a lot for my customers, right? So third party becomes the face, right? It's my team who is delivering the service in the name of the actual owner or actual business partner to whom the customer had given the contract. In our case, it's more of a professional data, large databases, transactions, less of personal data. And when third party, in our case, does not get into the database, we are not into managing databases. But in many cases, the third parties get the real raw personal data of the customers in their hand. And we'll get into some of the examples there. And if there is personal data involved, then you need to be worried about your vendor, because fiduciaries are otherwise considered responsible for handling the data and responsible for any breach that happens. So anyone working on behalf of a fiduciary's ownership still stays there until unless fiduciary has signed up a 100% absolute contract that says no, I am not responsible. Possible because the customer has signed the contract and provided the consent to the fiduciary, not to the subcontractor of the fiduciary. So what are some of these vendors that I am talking of, or some of these activities that I am talking of? Very, very minor examples of things like payroll processing or using cloud services, external logistics services, right? So we have a lot of call centers, they use transport companies, large organizations provide transport facility to their employees, couriers that do get delivered, equipments that do get delivered at customer places, services. These are some of the capabilities that you outsource to vendors instead of doing them yourself, right? Sometimes for the scale of economies, sometimes for the purpose that I don't know to get into the logistic things, right? So but all these are some of the examples where you directly have personal data. You can't send a courier until you share the name, address, phone number of the concerned person. You can't send equipment until you share name, address and phone number of the destination. Similarly, marketing activities, and if marketing activities are getting outsourced, then there is a big concern, because there would be a lot of personal data. You would need email IDs and phone numbers of the customers. That is part one of it. And then you are asking someone else to send emails on your behalf. You are asking someone else to do telecalling on your behalf. It could be marketing in that sense. For telecalling, it could be a banking service, any financial service, any services. So you are handling all your customers' data to a third party to work on your behalf, whereas when the customer picks up the call or receives an email, he thinks it's you who are giving them. So the vendor's compliance becomes very, very important for all fiduciaries, especially for significant data fiduciaries, right? But a hospital does third-party lab tests. I don't know who your lab is, whom you outsourced it to. Even if you tell me, I don't care. I came to the hospital, not to the lab, right? So the ownership is with the hospital, not with the lab. So personal data is a fiduciary responsibility. Outsourcing needs to be absolutely secure. Vendor processing cannot be compromised. You can't take chances that your vendor plays around with the data. Any breach that is happening while marketing will impact the fiduciary's brand reputation, right? When the principal is not even aware of who is doing this marketing, he thinks it's this if the fiduciary is doing marketing, then how does it matter for the principal? Anything going wrong, he would be putting the fiduciary liable for it. Even for unsolicited marketings, like you gave your personal data to a third party for marketing your product, but they ended up misusing it. You engage a third party to deliver couriers on your behalf, but they started misusing it. So organizations, fiduciaries need to be very, very careful, and in the subsequent video we are going to talk about some of the important things, and then we'll follow up on the top 5 tips that you should use as a fiduciary to ensure that you are careful with your vendors. Now, I'm giving you one of my personal examples, which was through a call center agent of financial services, which gave me a lot of confidence on that respective bank and the systems that they are using. A bank agent called up because on the monthly interest, they need to follow the customers to get their interest collected, right? So he called me up, he verified my name, I confirmed my name, and then he asked, is your account number ending this? I verified that as well. And then there was a silence, because then he said, I'm sorry I called you because your interest is already paid. And I said, then why did you even call me when you knew my interest was already paid? And then he told me the real story. He told me how it works. He says that when we call a customer, well, actually we don't even dial a number. The automatic system dials a number and hands it over to, flashes it on our screens. And then when we start talking and we ask the name, and then is it that when we start talking, we get the name flashed, we verify the name and say we have verified the name, then the account number flashes. So if there's a wrong number called up, or if the other side does not even want to talk and says, no, I'm not so and so, then I don't even know the account number, right? The call center guy does not even know the account number, but now he knows the account number. And it's only after verification that it flashes and says this is the outstanding interest or that the interest is paid. So I personally feel this makes it very, very secure, and it boosted my confidence on my banks. Two of them actually do this practice. And why it is so is because the third party agent, first of all, he does not even know my phone number. Second, he comes to know about my outstanding only if he is sure that he is talking to me bearing this particular account number, and a wrong number or a person who cannot validate his account number, no information is shared, no information is even available to the agent calling. So this is one of the very interesting examples that I faced in my life. As I mentioned in the subsequent videos, we are going to give you some more tips on how vendor management should be done, and a bit more on how you should look at your vendors when you are onboarding them. I hope you like the content of this video. Please press the like and bell icon, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.